Wow! Regarde-moi ça. Look at this. Whoa! Salé. I can feel like I'm drinking the seawater. Plus, avec cette magnifique vue, with this beautiful view, it's actually the English Channel. So right across de l'autre côté is England, Angleterre. Here we can walk along and we can also hear the waves. Wow, it feels like we're in a different country, but nous sommes pas loin de Paris. We're not far from Paris, just a 2.5 hours train ride away. An iconic site that we can see here is les brise-lames. So, les brise-lames are actually these wooden water breakers, but brise-lames, it's basically to protect the city from the very strong waves, the strong tides. Donc, c'est très beau à voir. Like you can see also the impact sur l'eau, ce que ça a fait, what it did. It's such a great sight to see. I've never seen it à part ici. A historic fortress over there, like a small one, and it was to protect the city. Little May is enjoying her beach stroll, sa promenade sur la plage. And actually it's interesting because that fort over there was also used at the end of World War II comme prison, as a prison. The Germans actually imprisoned, I think, over 100 locals over there. Ils étaient emprisonnés. It's been used for multiple reasons and it's just historiquement très important. Historically very important. And I think that's what's so cool about regions that kept so many things like the fortifications, les ramparts, la ville. Because I think there's one side where you read about everything in the books, you learn it at school, but it's another thing to be right in front of it and to experience it yourself and to be there. You know, it gives me chills just to think about everything that fort has been through, and also to think that where we're stepping right now, où on marche, sometimes we can't walk here. When it's high tide, this part is under the sea. It's funny because at the market, someone mentioned to me to be careful because with these small tidal islands near Saint-Malo, since they function with low tide and high tide, some people, they go over there and then they're stuck. Ils sont coincés. So it's important to always check, you know, and to look at weather conditions. Right now is low tide, donc il n'y a aucun souci, there's no problem. Mais on sait jamais. Wow, there's a lot of like seaweed as well. Mais on va monter un peu plus haut. We're gonna go up a little higher to see qu'est-ce qu'il y a. Mémé exploring the Fort National, the national fort. She's a little adventurer, little explorer. Vas-y, bébé. Just on the right, tout à la droite, another small island, uninhabited, so il n'y a personne qui vit, no one lives there. But that is the island of Grand B. So you can see it over there, and I'm sure in low tide we can walk there as well. This time, not gonna walk there, perhaps tomorrow. C'est intéressant, this island is interesting because it also has remainings of the forts and fortifications, and also it's where il y a un écrivain français très connu, a very famous French writer qui s'appelle René de Chateaubriand, and he's buried over there, so it's quite meaningful because he decided to be buried face à la mer, in front of the sea. Very poetic from someone in romanticism literature. And juste derrière moi, il y a cette absolument magnifique vue de la ville. We see the whole city and we see the Intramuros walls, which we came from. And you can really feel like everything was really well preserved, well kept. Even though après la guerre, after the war, you know, there were a lot of bombardments and a lot of structures were ruined, they did the best they possibly could to restore everything and to keep everything. C'est ce que j'apprécie de Saint-Malo. It's what I really appreciate about Saint-Malo. I'm probably gonna go head back into Intramuros, so inside the medieval city, and perhaps have a bite because the oysters, c'est bon, mais c'est pas suffisant comme repas. It's not enough to make a whole meal. Donc je pense qu'on va se diriger vers la ville. We're gonna go back into the city et manger quelque chose de breton, maybe eat something that is from the Bretagne region. The water on the right side is completely full, and probably in like 30 minutes, in 30 minutes, this whole part is gonna be underwater. So it's crazy that depending on high tide, low tide, some places, oh, il y a de l'eau, I have to go, time to go back. Je vais vous prendre un thé. Est-ce qu'il y a des thés d'exception un peu particuliers ici ou c'est les mêmes qu'on peut trouver à Paris aussi?
Alors nous, on a une sélection de thé mariage frère.
Ouais.
Après, je ne pourrais pas vous dire...
Est-ce qu'il y en a à base de fleurs, un peu florales?
Oui, on en a quelques-uns.
Ouais.
Le sakura, qui va être juste ici, fleur de cerisier. Vous avez également le surabaya, qui est très bon.
Ah oui.
Pétales de mauve.
Du coup, je vais prendre un surabaya. Ouais.
Il est très doux, on sent il y a un côté un peu rose, on sent le côté floral.
Okay. Donc maintenant, nous sommes dans une crêperie. We're in a creperie store that was actually recommended to us by the owner of the Airbnb. Et ça écrit salon de thé et crêperie de Saint-Malo. So apparently it's very known with the locals here. They are famous pour les galettes because in this region, dans cette région de la Bretagne, les galettes à base de sarrasin, which means that they're like a salty type of crepe that is based from buckwheat flour, sont très connues. Du coup, on a toutes les galettes traditionnelles. We have all the traditional ones where we have the normal butter ones, the ones with egg, œuf fromage, which is egg and cheese, œuf bacon. I got the one which is séguin, so c'est le fromage de chèvre et le miel, which is goat cheese and honey, parce que j'adore tout ce qui est chèvre-miel. And then, ils ont plein de thé, because c'est un salon de thé, so they have so many teas. And you know that I'm the most passionate about tea. J'adore le thé. And so we have a wide selection of tea from the famous French family Mariage Frère. And today I'm gonna try one of their rooibos teas, un de leurs thés rooibos, qui s'appelle le surabaya. So, c'est un thé rouge, red tea, avec des parfums exotiques et vanillés et des pétales de mauve. So, it's without caffeine, so no caffeine, especially pour cette fin de journée. Donc, j'ai trop hâte de goûter. Can't wait to taste. Merci.
Voici, confette champignon.
Parfait.
Passez un bon moment.
Merci beaucoup. And voila, the last bite of the galette. La galette parfaite. Plus with the mix of the textures, there was like the creamy goat cheese, le fromage de chèvre, and the sweet honey. And they put a bit of walnuts, and it's called la galette séguin. And it's actually a very original and popular traditional galette en Bretagne, in this region. So if you ever go to a crêperie in Brittany, you absolutely have to order la galette de séguin. It's 8:30 a.m., 8h30 du matin. Look at this view. We are starting our next day at Saint-Malo, and we're gonna go tôt ce matin, early this morning. We're gonna go make some butter. On va faire du beurre. Let's go. We always say that early bird catches the worm, but it should be early bird catches the good light and the peacefulness, genre la bonne lumière et le silence and the quietness. Everything, a lot of the stores are closed still parce que c'est un peu tôt. Especially for smaller cities that are not Paris, things close much earlier. Mais j'adore, et en plus il y a plein de brume. There's so much fog. Bonjour. Ouais, j'irai voir. Bon, merci. Ciao. Ciao, ciao. Bisous. J'ai mon petit beurre. I just came from a morning of making butter. C'était trop cool. I absolutely love this. We are now dans un café, in a cafe called le café du coin d'en bas de la rue, du bout de la ville, d'en face du port, la Java, which means the cafe that's at the corner of the street, at the end of the city, in front of the port. So long cafe name, but it's so interesting because it's actually a cafe that is very near our Airbnb in the old town. And it's a collectioner of puppeteers, de poupées, collectionneurs de poupées. The owner's grandparents collected puppets from, I guess, everywhere in France, everywhere in the world. And he just told me, il y en a 3000, there are 3000, which is crazy. Donc, moi, j'ai décidé, I asked him, qu'est-ce que vous me conseillez? What do you recommend? And because I love hot chocolate and I love tea, and I saw they have different kinds of chocolat chaud, hot chocolate. And I got le chocolat Cointreau chocolat. So, Cointreau is a liquor that is from Angers, and it's a liquor that is made from orange, de l'orange. So I never had liquor avec du chocolat chaud. As you know, I rarely drink, mais là c'est une exception because we're in Saint-Malo. I'll mix this a little, je vais mélanger ça. Ooh. He told me there's only 2 centilitres, and so il n'y en a pas beaucoup. It's interesting. It's like un chocolat chaud with an aftertaste de l'orange, of orange. Donc super intéressant. Honestly, ce café is really unique, and if you come to Saint-Malo, si tu viens à Saint-Malo, I would really recommend de venir dans ce café. As a cafe lover, I love unique cafes in every city. Donc celui-là, il est exceptionnel. It's such an exceptional café. Les toilettes are in an old phone booth. Et aussi, I don't know if you know any puppets, French puppets, des poupées françaises. There's a very famous one which comes from my dad's hometown and my hometown de Lyon, qui s'appelle Guignol. And there's Goldorak over there. Such a cool cafe, trop cool. So now, on vient de prendre notre chocolat chaud à le café du coin d'en bas de la rue, du bout de la ville, d'en face du port. What a long cafe name. Now we're headed to la plage because I haven't spent too much time by the sea. Et en plus, on a de la chance, we are so lucky with the weather, que normalement pendant cette période, during this period, il pleut beaucoup, il fait très gris. But today, it's not as gray as our first day, it's very sunny. Donc, allons à la plage, let's go. Merci. Au revoir. I just got my first Queen Amman, which is une pâtisserie bretonne, super famous pastry here. Mainly a pastry based of butter et du sucre. Donc allons goûter ça, let's go try this. C'est hyper croquant, very crunchy, très sucré, very sweet, but I feel like c'est très caramélisé, like it's super caramelized. C'est pas mauvais, I don't think I'd have it every day parce que c'est un peu lourd, but honnêtement c'est pas mal. C'est simple, and for 2,30 €, 2,30 €, ça va, pas très cher, but I don't think I'd want more than one. And here we can see les ramparts. Les ramparts are the walls that are protecting the city, or that protected the city from medieval times. And so ici derrière moi, on a cette magnifique vue. We have this amazing view. And that over there, c'est le grand B. There's grand B and petit B. And so, on va aller vers là-bas. We're gonna walk over there. Wow, I feel like je suis transportée dans cette période du temps. I'm transported in this period of time. C'est magnifique. It's so beautiful. Wow. Regarde-moi ça. Look at this. Wow, they're like dogs. Mimi's gonna have such a great time. When there's la marée haute, which is high tide, when there are the big waves, en fait, la seule chose qu'on voit, c'est là-bas the diving spot that you see over there. Donc, quand c'est marée basse, like now, low tide, we see the whole view, but when it's high tide, on voit rien du tout. J'ai vraiment envie de revenir ici quand il fera meilleur, peut-être au printemps ou en été. Yeah, je trouve que c'est vraiment un lieu parfait pour nager. Il y a Tina aussi, qui est... She's a dog I met today. She loves to go in the water. If only, si seulement Mémé aussi elle aimait l'eau. Saint-Malo alors, niveau activité, ça va je pense.
L'été, il y a beaucoup d'activités.
Et l'hiver c'est un peu
L'hiver,
calme.
c'est beaucoup plus calme. Il y a beaucoup moins de population déjà.
Ça passe de...
À peu près 50 000, il me semble que j'avais vu à
Ouais,
l'année.
ouais,
Et par contre, du coup, l'été, on est à 100 000 à peu près.
c'est fou.
Ouais.
Je suis assise sur un rocher. I'm sitting on the rocks. On voit les petites moules. You can see the little mussels. Where I was just now was on the diving board that you can see on the left. It looked quite easy to access from here, mais en fait, ça fait un peu peur. It's a bit scary because, first of all, there's a lot of moss, so it's very slippery, and it's a little steep because right now the tide is quite low, so if you fall on the other side, there's nothing but rocks. Mais everything was fine. I think that was the wildest intro and conclusion I've ever taken, but it was very fun, and it was fun to see the local divers come, and he told me that he's here every single day. Il est là tous les jours. So even water that is 8 degrees, 8 degrees, he's used to it. And behind me, on voit la ville, we see the city. There's even une mouette, a seagull that is on the top of that pole watching over the city. C'est une vue super sublime, like a really beautiful view. And now I understand la beauté de la Bretagne, the beauty of Brittany, because it's very different than Normandy. I feel like Normandy was cleaner, more like laid out beach, and here there's more views, scenic views. There's the island, the small tidal islands. Il y a la grande baie et petit baie. So c'est super beau. Plus, Bretagne is very different than what I thought. Mimi is learning how to climb rocks. C'est pas facile. It's not easy, but she likes it. She likes Breton dogs. Les chiens de la Bretagne, les Bretons. People who come from Brittany in French, we call them les Bretons, or for the girls, les Bretonnes. So Mimi, did you become une Bretonne? I will definitely be back because la météo était parfaite. The weather ended up so good. We're gonna walk sur les ramparts de Saint-Malo. We can even see like these little domes. Oh, regarde-moi cette vue. Look at this view. Wow, c'est fou. Crazy to think that pendant le Moyen-Âge, during the Middle Ages, people went into places like that to defend le pays, pour défendre le pays. And if I just sit here, regarde-moi ça, cette vue. That's a view. I can see, il y a des bateaux à voile. There are sailboats over there. There's the sea. Il y a des gens qui jouent au tennis. Wait, no, it's not tennis. It's like a badminton beach thing, mais c'est trop beau. And that's the place we're gonna go right after. Ça s'appelle le Môle des Noirs. First, on va continuer à marcher sur les remparts. We're gonna go and walk along the ramparts. Mais cette vue est magnifique, such a beautiful view. Là-bas, here is Grande Bay, but now Grande Bay est complètement couverte because it's high tide, so la marée haute, and we can't see it, we can't walk there anymore. C'est très, very cool. They would line up the cannons over there to catapult and defend the city and to protect the citizens of Saint-Malo. There's also des mouettes, there are some seagulls up here. Excusez-moi, monsieur, c'est quoi exactement?
Je sais pas, c'est une prise de vue pour je sais pas quoi.
Ah, ils sont en train de filmer quelque chose. Ok. They're filming something, like a medieval movie. So I have a medieval fight happening behind me. Wow, this view is crazy. Cette vue, absolument magnifique. And now we're gonna see a statue, une statue très connue of a very famous explorer called Jacques Cartier. And it's really crazy because Jacques Cartier is not only famous in French history, but also in Canadian history. Because in 1534, he led an expedition in the new Gulf of St. Lawrence. And he went all the way up along la rivière de Saint-Laurent, along the river of St. Lawrence, that led him to New Quebec et Montréal. Donc grâce à lui, thanks to him, Canada has a lot of French influences, and also it shaped Canadian history and it shaped French history. Donc c'est fou because I know that a lot of people say that l'histoire est pas très intéressant, like history is not so important, but imagine you're from Canada and you don't know this about your own country. I think you'll want to find these things out. Tu voudrais apprendre ces choses sur ton pays. Same for me. I'm learning to discover France through its history, through its culture, through exploring different regions. Donc c'est très important. And you can meet a lot of interesting people along your trips and talk about really cool stories. Who do we have here? I walked a little more. We have Jacques Cartier and une mouette and a seagull that is looking over la vue à Saint-Malo. And what I was saying is that it's so interesting because during this expedition, he actually met all sorts of people, and he also met indigenous people, including the Iroquois, and learned the name Canada from them. So honestly, he was really a key figure in shaping the history of Canada and of France, and he came from Saint-Malo. Là, on voit que c'est écrit Jacques Cartier, so his name, and on this plaque, it says, cette plaque a été dévoilée le 6 juin 1984, so this plate was put in 1984 par le très honorable Pierre Elliott Trudeau, so by the Prime Minister of Canada, le Premier ministre du Canada, en présence de Monsieur le maire Marcel Planchet, so the mayor from here, and they set up cette belle statue to commemorate 450 years of the exploration of Jacques Cartier dans le Canada. Nous venons de descendre, we just went downstairs, and right now we are along an alley called le Mol des Noirs, and it got its name from les rochers noirs. Like you can see that the rocks at the bottom are in black, and so this whole, I think it's called a water breaker or wave breaker, and at the end of the wave breaker, on peut voir tout là-bas, we can see a lighthouse, and it's so cool. Allons voir plus proche, let's go see it. And I think it's really like a perfect way to end une journée à Saint-Malo. Behind me we have le phare, which is the lighthouse in French. It's so interesting because le Mol des Noirs, which is this passageway right here, it was actually used to protect Saint-Malo from strong Atlantic waves contre les vagues très fortes, and so it was used for maritime defenses. But now today, tout le monde se promène, everyone has amazing walks locals go ahead and sit, and it's a nice place to see the amazing views de la ville. There are locals behind me watching the sunset avec cette magnifique vue. Such an amazing place, full of history, full of stories. If you like the sea and you like water and you need a break from the big city, c'est parfait. So this was my first time, c'était ma première fois à Saint-Malo. I hope you enjoyed visiting with me all the hidden gems, very local spots and also historical places. Là, on a la vue du port. We have the port view with all the tidal islands. We're on the biggest public pool. I'm on the diving point, and I hope that I'll be back in the spring, in the summer. There are so many other cool video YouTube concepts coming up. Je parle en anglais et en français. I speak in English and in French because I love the culture, history, and art of France and discovering new regions like Saint-Malo. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. It would support me a lot. Merci beaucoup et à bientôt!